Authorities in Iran say they've released more than 700 prisoners following the national football team's World Cup victory over Wales. An official website said that 709 detainees were freed from different prisons in the country following the 2-0 victory on Friday. Among those released were a prominent Iranian actor and former international footballer. Both had been detained for supporting widespread protests against the government following the death in police custody more than 2 months ago of a 22-year-old woman arrested for not wearing a hijab correctly. Iran's next World Cup game is a politically charged showdown against the United States tomorrow. With more on the protests and what impact Iran's World Cup campaign is having on the demonstrations, let's speak to the activist Laila Jayayeri from the Association of Anglo-Iranian Women. Thank you so much for joining us. I wonder what you're hearing about the mood at the moment in Iran in terms of what's happening on the ground, because I understand that the unrest is being overshadowed by the World Cup, and a lot of people in Iran have been watching those games very closely.
Well, nothing can overshadow the uprising. The uprising continues every single day. The brave women of Iran, the youth, go back to the streets despite brutal crackdown. And this release of 700 prisoners is basically a maneuver by the Iranian regime to divert attention of its ongoing repression of what its suppressive forces are doing to the protesters every single day. And it has only happened because of immense international pressure on the regime, especially after the adoption of the United Nations Human Rights Council resolution last Thursday, condemning crackdown, killing by Iranian regime, calling for formation of a fact-finding mission to investigate the crimes of Iranian regime. So it's all a maneuver for the regime to divert attention. It's just a publicity campaign, that's all.
Well, you're certainly right in that sense. From what we're hearing, all the analysis coming out is that the state is making use of that World Cup. We've seen state media dominated by stories of the World Cup, and especially that dramatic victory over Wales. But I guess the question is it working? Do you think the authorities are able to distract and dampen the protests?
Once again, nothing could distract or overshadow the determination of a generation that comes to the streets despite brutal suppression every single day. They say they have nothing to lose. They will come back until they bring the regime down. The regime has resorted to all its tactics. This is another tactics. They have used all force, all power. Still, they couldn't prevent the continuation of this uprising because it is a well-organized uprising and it's nationwide. It's all over Iran. So far, today is day 74. There have been protests in Tehran, in various locations, in the capital, in Mashhad, in Karaj, in various towns, cities. The university students continue their protests. There are strikes continuing by Isfahan, steel mill workers, the truck drivers are on strike, bazaar merchants are on strike. The whole country is on a strike and protest. And again, Khamenei uses these tactics to divert attention from what is happening inside the country. And the games, everybody knows that linking these 700 to the games is basically ridiculous because everyone knows in Iran that the regime is using the World Cup to its own favor to divert attention from the protests and also to kind of boost the morale of its demoralized.
Right, okay. What I'm curious, I apologize for interrupting you there, but I wanted to get to this before we run out of time. I mean, I'm curious to know what the reaction has been to the Iranian football team, especially at the games with their silence with the national anthem in that first match against England. I understand there's been a huge amount of scrutiny.
Well, you could clearly hear the chanting of thousands of Iranians who had traveled to be there, chanting "Down with Khamenei." The Iranians there and the Iranians inside and outside Iran wish the regime to lose. Nobody wanted the regime to win because, again, as I said, this is unfortunately a team for the regime, and the regime has been using this team in order to, again, divert the attention from the protests inside Iran, attention of international community, and boost the morals of its security forces that are leaving these forces on a daily basis.
I mean, to be entirely fair, I mean, when Iran won that game over Wales, I mean, the pitch was absolutely flooded by a lot of people who were Iranians, as well as we saw a lot of people also apparently very happy as a result of that victory. But I'm wondering what it's like for you, Laila, observing these protests from London and trying to understand what's going on. I mean, is it becoming more difficult to get information? Are people becoming more hesitant to speak out because perhaps it's more dangerous for them?
Actually, it's vice versa. People have gained the courage. They are brave. They learn from the new generation. Things have changed. The fear has changed place. It's not the security forces, the regime that is afraid of the bravery and determination of these new generations. That has these determination and bravery and the tactics these brave people use at the protest has created a lot of fears among the security forces. So fears has changed place. The Iranian people in general, and particularly the one at the forefront of the protest, are fearless. They are brave. They actually kneel down. If you go on the social media, you'll be surprised. Brave young women kneel down and tell the security forces, shoot me. They are determined. And that has caused a lot of fear on the other side. That's why they are losing personnel every single day.
Well, I thank you very much indeed, as always, Laila, for bringing us the story as you have consistently over the last few weeks. Laila Jayayeri is from the Association of Anglo-Iranian Women, and she was talking to me there from London.